Well, we're on our way. Away from the Earth.
Look how small it's getting, Keith.
Yeah, I wonder how fast we're going. Well, I think we've landed somewhere.
Oh, that was a fast trip. Let's get out.
Okay. How is it down there?
Look at it, Keith.
Boy, I never took such a fast trip in my life.
Look, though.
Isn't this a beautiful thing?
Ooh,
No trees, mountains,
scary.
desert. Yeah, it is. Wonder where we are, huh?
I don't know.
Oh, look at it. Breathtaking.
Oh, it is. Keith, look.
Oh.
What's...
I don't know.
Look, I'm getting scared.
Maybe we better get back in. Huh? Huh?
Look. Well, who are they?
I don't know. Suppose we better get back in the ship?
I don't know, but they're coming our way.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, this may be it.
Gee whiz, so soon?
Uh-huh. Boy. Look at them. They don't look like they have any weight. They're just floating along.
Yeah,
I don't know about this business. Let's get back.
Oh.
Did you come from the Earth?
Yes, and a very,
Yes, we
very quick
did.
trip.
So did these gentlemen.
Oh, they did?
They came from the same place you did. If they took those helmets off, we'd probably recognize them. You might have seen them before.
Pardon me, this is Miss Gardner,
How do you do, Miss Gardner?
and I'm Keith Hetherington.
And you're
Mr.
a
Hetherington?
picture, right?
That's right.
You're the director of this picture.
A picture? You know where you are. You're on the surface of the moon.
What?
You're in the middle
We
of the
are?
crater Harpalus on the moon, and these gentlemen have also come from the Earth in a spaceship, this same spaceship here.
They did.
This is Mr. John Archer, who helped to build the ship.
How are you,
How do
Mr.
you
Archer?
do?
I know you.
This is Mr. Warner Anderson,
Hello.
who plays Dr. Card.
Glad to know you,
the
Warner.
designer of the ship.
Hello.
This is Dick Wesson. He
Glad to know
operates
you.
the radar and radio. And this is Tom Powers,
Hello.
a retired
How are you, Tom?
Air Force general
Very glad.
who instigated this trip.
So,
You know, for a moment, they really did scare me.
I don't wonder that you're frightened.
You really did.
You really ought to be dressed as they are.
Well, these outfits amaze me.
These are spacesuits. You see, they have to carry their own oxygen supply. They have to wear a helmet because there's no atmosphere here on the moon.
uh-huh.
There's no air at all as there is on the Earth. So if you'll notice on their backs, they carry 2 tanks of oxygen.
These are the oxygen
Since
tanks.
there's no air to carry sound, they can't speak to each other. They have to use walkie-talkies and communicate by radio.
Oh, this is
This
the
is the
walkie-talkie.
That's the walkie-talkie, and there's the aerial.
Uh-huh.
This is their oxygen supply, which goes into the helmet that they wear. These suits normally on the moon, where there's no atmosphere, you see, being filled with oxygen, expand. That's why they look a little bit like teddy bears.
Oh, I see. And down what is this here?
That has their radio control for intercommunication and also communication with the ship. It also has the oxygen controls, so they can control the flow of oxygen from their tanks on their backs.
I noticed a little gadget here. What is this for?
I believe that has something to do with their
Air intake and air outlet.
It's
Oh.
a valve.
And this is the
exhaust
intake
valve.
here. This is the exhaust
valve,
here.
yes.
And I noticed you carry a very fancy set of instruments on the
Oh,
side
yes.
here, too.
They have to have a flashlight. They have to have various tools that they may require in repairing things on the exterior of the ship, as they have to do in this picture.
Well, I noticed that their spacesuits, rather, are a different color. Is there any reason for that?
Yes, identification. This is a very bleak landscape here, as you notice. And if they wore silvered suits, they'd merge in the landscape. This is the only way that they can recognize each other from a distance.
Oh, by the different colored suits.
Yes, it also helps to prevent anybody getting lost in all these rocky formations out here.
Oh.
Well, that is wonderful. Fellows, thanks a lot for showing us what the man from Mars, you might say, wears.
It's the man from Earth.
Man
The
from
man
Earth.
from Earth. Oh.
Man from Mars is a different kind of creature.
Oh.
We'll show you a lot more a little later.
Let's see, you have a rope on the other side.
That's the safety line.
Uh-huh.
Just in case you get out in free fall or any place where you might need a safety line.
Uh-huh.
Brings us on the ship.
These gentlemen were in an awful predicament last week. They had to make a repair on the exterior of the ship. So they put on their space suits and got out and walked all over the surface of the ship here, repairing a radar antenna. And they needed the safety lines because without those and boots with magnetic soles, of course, they could easily have floated off into space. In fact, one of them did. We had quite a difficult... that was Dr. Cargraves. We had quite a difficult time getting him back onto the surface of the ship. We succeeded, and here he is tonight.
How did you finally get him back?
I'd rather not tell.
Oh, you want okay.
Let's leave that for the picture.
Suffice it to say that he did get back.
Here he is right now, safe on the surface of the moon.
Mr. Pitchell, I'd like to have you turn around
turn around
just a little bit so that our audience can see you. And tell us, we haven't found out yet, what is the name of this picture?
Picture is to be called Destination Moon.
Destination Moon.
I think perhaps that you will be interested now in meeting the gentleman who originated the idea of making this picture.
I'd like to find out a little bit more about you, Mr.
Oh, I'm an old story around
I'd like to find out something about the picture. Are you getting any particular kick, you might say, out of this picture over any other pictures you've directed?
Kick? Since I graduated from college, I haven't had as much education as I've had on this one picture. I've read books about rocketry, rocket flight. I've brushed up on astronomy. I know more about the laws of gravity now, the law of gravity, than I ever dreamed I'd have to know. In addition to that, I've had an experience which I believe most directors are supposed to enjoy. That is, putting actors through elaborate forms of torture.
Do you have any sympathy for these actors?
I hadn't until last Saturday. They wanted to make a photograph, a gag picture, you know, of me directing the actors from space. So they rigged me up and sent me floating 30-odd feet above the stage floor. I then realized, since they kept me up there about 3/4 of an hour, what I've been subjecting these nice fellows to. My state of mind is quite different now. I approach them when there's anything to do that defies the laws of gravity with a great deal of trepidation and consideration. And say, my dear fellow, do you mind doing this? But they're good sports. They haven't minded so far, or at least they haven't complained about it too violently.
Have you ever directed a picture that was even approaching this in sensationalism?
No. I've directed one other picture in which the principal characters had to get along without air because they operated underwater. A picture called Mr. Peabody and the Mermaid, an underwater picture. This is my first space picture. As a matter of fact, to the best of my knowledge, this is the first serious space picture that's been made in the United States. Way back in 1902, in France, they made a picture about a trip to the moon. And in 1928, they made one in Germany. But to the best of my knowledge, this is the first one to be made in this country. More than that, it's the first picture made about a trip to the moon in which they didn't find pretty girls there.
All right. Now then, where did the idea come for a picture like this?
Well, I don't know exactly where the idea came from. I know where I first heard about it, and that was from my good friend George Pal, who has nursed the idea of doing this picture for quite a while.
I wonder if we could talk.
I'd like you to meet Mr. Pal. George?
Gardner.
Miss Gardner, Mr. Powell.
Hello.
Mr. Hetherington, Mr. Powell.
Just keep
How are you?
You know the
Powell?
other fellows, don't you?
I live with them in the past 4 weeks.
I believe you.
Mr. Powell, where did you get the idea for a picture like this?
Well, it isn't particularly my idea. I always look for something unusual, different, like we used to do it in the old Puppetoons, if you remember.
Because everybody remembers
Oh,
the Puppetoons. They were so cute.
And then we felt that we grew out our short pants. We should have put on long pants, so instead of shorts, we decided to make features, long ones, you see?
Still living in the world of fantasy, though.
Yes, in a way, although
Yes,
we think
I
this
think
is
so.
very near tomorrow, this trip to the moon, I think.
Really?
Yes.
Maybe you can give us some of the statistics on the picture. How long will it be before the picture is released and so on?
Oh,
and so
the picture will be pre-released sometimes in February.
forth? We're getting a sign that they want you to see the television audience. I mean, the audience to see you, too.
It will be sometimes in February, and then it goes in general release sometime in summer. But we pre-releasing it as fast as we can, being a hot subject, let's say.
Look at the blast here.
Oh, sure, you can see
That's
that.
right.
See the what is lava here is all
Scorched
scorched?
earth, we call it, yeah.
Scorched earth? Well, I think it's one of the most amazing picture sets that I've ever seen.
Well, we have a wonderful little family here together. Mr. Pitchell on the head of the table, and I would like to call some of the people who are behind the screen, if I may.
Oh,
I
we'd
would
love to
would
meet
like
them.
very much to meet them.
I would like to call Mr. Heinlein, the originator of this story.
Uh-huh.
He wrote the story. This is Mr. Bob Heinlein, Dorothy and Keith.
How do
How are
you
you,
do?
Bob?
Hello.
How do you do?
Bob, I wonder if you'd step around here on the other side of
over
Dorothy
here?
so that we can ask you a few questions too. Tell us about this trip to the moon. Do you think this is possible?
Oh, yes, it's quite possible.
We're here, aren't we?
Not only are
Yes.
we here, but it can be done. It can be done as soon as anyone is willing to foot the bill to do it. There are no new scientific principles to be discovered to accomplish this trip. It's simply a case of money and engineering development.
Well, how long would it take to take a trip to the moon?
Well, this particular trip is figured for a 46-hour orbit. There are various orbits that could be selected. In Jules Verne's book about a trip to the moon, he had a 100-hour orbit. That is equally correct. It depends on your speed of departure.
Oh, I see.
I think it would be very interesting just to take a camera sweep around this huge set here and see what the moon looks like. You know, we saw it at Griffith Park the other
Yes,
night.
we did.
And this is, I am told, an authentic reproduction of what the moon looks like. Are these mountains here, George? Are they,
Are they
craters?
volcanoes?
Or?
Well, let me call Mr. Chesley Bonestall and Ernst Factor, who are the visual artists in
Oh,
this
I see.
picture.
Oh,
Mr. Chesley Bonestall is a very well-known astronomer.
How are you, Mr. Bonestall?
hello.
Mr. Ernst Factor,
How are you, Mr. Factor?
Hello.
in the business, and I think this
All
gentleman
right.
can give you
All
the
right.
answer. But
We were just wondering, they sort of look like mountains to us, or are they volcanoes or what?
Well,
We'll let you answer that because you're the...
well, this is a crater about 24 miles in diameter, and those mountains are about 12 miles away and about 10,000 feet high. And the floor of the crater has been flooded with lava, so it's quite level, as you see, and then all these various formations are due to the dropping of volcanic bombs and eruptions and thrust up through the valley of the crater, through the floor of the crater.
Is this,
I think that-
this is perfectly barren then. There's no vegetation.
No vegetation, no life whatever. Everything's burned out and frozen, frozen lava.
What is the climate here? Is it
Well, it's intensely, there is no temperature really because there's nothing to conduct heat. Or the temperature in the shade is
Well, it's
extremely
terribly cold and it's terribly hot.
Terribly hot.
Oh,
This incidentally is going to be in Technicolor. No one has mentioned it up to now. And of course for us here in Hollywood who who have a subject like this to play with, the temptation is rather great, to